Welcome to another episode of Ship of War, my review of Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Ship of War. When ship happens, I'm there.
So it's finally officially over. The Twilight Saga is over. At least the movies. I don't know about the books or anything like that. For now, anyways. And I'm so happy, not because I dislike the franchise, I actually enjoy the franchise. It's because I am so tired of people crying over this movie. And I'm not talking about those who like it, I'm talking about those who dislike this franchise. And I'm so happy that soon it's going to be over and I don't longer have to see Facebook statuses about people complaining about Twilight. For the love of God, it's going to be so amazing. So with that said, here's my review of Breaking Dawn Part 2. Now, for those who don't know me, for those who do, probably heard this a million times, but Breaking Dawn, the actual book, was my least favorite of the book series, and that's because the whole imprinting thing. I like Twilight, but the whole imprinting thing is something I personally cannot wrap my head around. I don't care how it's explained or how innocent it may be explained in the books or whatever like that. The fact is, when these beings imprint on a female, that female becomes their life mate. Okay? So the fact that Stephanie Myers wrote that in the book to have Jacob imprint on an infant child that was just born, and he's what, like 16 years old or 17 years old at this point, just doesn't sit right with me. And it didn't sit right with me in the book, and didn't sit right with me in the film, and it'll never sit right with me. So that was one of the things I just did not like about Breaking Dawn. The other thing I did not like about Breaking Dawn, the book, I'm talking about the book here, is the finale. My gosh, was it so boring. It was so much garbage. Like, they led up every book to this very moment, and it was pretty much nothing. It was just talking and nothing. Now, with that said, what I really enjoyed about this movie is they took out the nothing. They actually put something in between the nothing. Because if you watch the movie, you will see that there's talking, and then something happens, and then it ends. Well, in the book, that's something that happens that's pretty epic, and it blew my mind when it happened because I actually thought it was happening. Wasn't in the book. So just imagine how boring and uneventful the freaking book was. And I'm so happy that this movie basically gave me what I wanted to freaking read in the book in the movie. And that alone made me enjoy the crap out of this film for giving me what I wanted while I was reading the book. So, putting the whole imprinting garbage to the side, because I am never going to accept that. I don't know why they did it. Gosh. Anyways, putting the whole imprinting thing to the side and just factoring everything that did happen in this film, I overall enjoyed the film for doing something that Stephanie Myers did not do in the book. Now, my only other issue I have with this film, aside from the imprinting thing, is the baby. Not the baby as being a baby, but the way the baby looked. That did not make any sense to me. You know why it doesn't make any sense to me? This franchise has made so much money over the years. From the movies, from the merchandise, from the books, and they cannot get the CGI of a child in a film like this to look like an actual child. The thing looked like an anime thing. I thought I was watching an anime cartoon or something. I don't know what I was looking at, but I honestly could not get over that child and the way it looked. And I don't understand why it looked so terrible. Like, we're at the point with our technology that baby should not look that way. And the fact that they have all this money from all these films that they've made and the books and all the merchandise, there's no reason for that baby or that child as it progresses during the film to look the way it did. It looked terrible. Whoever did that job, but I don't want to blame them. No, I want to blame that they were cheap and they didn't want to give the person enough money to do an actual good job, and that's why it came out that way. So I'm not going to blame that person. I forgive you, person. I'm going to blame the studio and whoever else was behind managing the money for not giving that person enough money to make that child to look like an actual child and not look like some anime, some Japanese animated character from some, I don't know what, cartoon. That didn't make any sense to me, and I honestly could not get over that. I was sitting there throughout the whole sequence of that child growing and just turning to my cousin and being like, I honestly don't understand what's going on there. Like, what am I looking at right now? But outside from that, I really had no other real big issues with the film. It overall satisfied me. I overall enjoyed it. It took me off guard. It messed with my mind. It messed with my emotions by doing certain things with certain characters that I was not expecting, characters that I'm actually emotionally attached to from reading the books and watching the films. So this movie overall took me by surprise and ended up being a enjoyable film for me to watch. Now, who I would recommend this movie to? Obviously those who like the film. If you liked the first, the second, the third, and the fourth film, you are going to enjoy this. Now, for those who did not enjoy the first, the second, the third, or the fourth film, don't bother watching this movie. You're not going to like it. If you haven't got it by this point that the film is not meant for you, then my goodness, I don't know what to say to you guys. So that is all for this episode of Ship of War. Goodbye, and until next time. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. This movie probably a month ago, I would want to say. I haven't done a review till now for reasons I don't even know. So enough of the excuses, on to my thoughts on this film. I really enjoyed this movie. It's definitely in my top 5. But with that said, I feel like the general movie audience are not going to give this film a chance. I say that because prior to seeing the film, when I watched the trailer, I thought to myself, okay, this movie has a lot of good actors in it, but these are